file formats. Okay, so in the exam they're going to ask you some video file formats, and you'll need to know what the difference is with them. Okay, so you've got MPEG, a .mov, and an MP4. So these video file formats are compressed file formats, and as we discussed before, that they are compressed with a lossy compression method, not lossless. So these are compressed and they'll never be as good as the original file. Okay, they're never as good as the original recording, but they are compressed to make them smaller, to produce smaller files so they don't take up as much space. And they're faster loading online, but they're also a lower quality. They are a lower quality, so you've got to remember that. So they take up less size and they're faster to load, but they are a lower quality. So an MPEG, a MOV, and an MP4. MP4 is what iTunes use. For example, animation file formats. Okay, the main two is SWF and FLV. So SWF is a compressed file format. It's a small file, again, faster known online, but this one is for animations, games, and video. Okay, so when you make a Flash project, if you export it in this file format, it's basically like a smaller version of the file that you would use online. FLV is not compressed and it opens in the Flash software, so it's editable. So the way of thinking of it is a little bit like in Photoshop, a .psd file is the Photoshop file, but a JPEG is the compressed version of that. So an SWF file is the compressed version of a Flash movie. Image file formats. Okay, so MPG or MPEG, lossless compression in photography. So on lossless, we're not losing any of the data. PNG is lossless compression, supports transparency. So what we mean by that is if it's lossless, it's still as rich in information as the original Photoshop file, for example. So if it supports transparency, that basically means that if you were drawing, say in Photoshop you designed a character and you didn't want a background on it, you can save a PNG with no background on, so that when you put it over the top of something else, it wouldn't take anything with it. Whereas if you flatten, say you draw a character in Paint, the background's going to be white, so it'll always have a background. So if you drag that character into something, it'll be surrounded by a white background. But a PNG you can save with transparency, so that it's just almost like it's cut out of the image. TIFF, large file sizes for posters and high quality printing. PDF, uneditable document. So often if you've done a Word document and you want to put it out on the internet, PDF stands for portable document format. So often people make Word documents, they don't want anyone else to edit, and they just put them out there almost like a poster, and that's what that's for. And a GIF, small sizes, online, web, buttons. It's just a file format that's used for small images. Often GIFs are used really for animations online because they're very small files, and you can have like 5 images linking or going around in a loop. But yeah, they're most commonly used online. Audio file formats: MP3, AIFF, and WAV. An MP3 is compressed. They're small sizes and they're good for devices. That's why we have MP3 players or generic MP3 players. So they are a compressed version of that original file. Because on a CD, they are not MP3s. That's why you can only get a few of them on a CD. The reason why we can get hundreds of them on our phones is because we compress them, we save them in this compressed file format called MP3. AIFF is uncompressed and it's high quality and it's only used on a Mac. So you've all used AIFF audio files. All the instruments in GarageBand, all the loops are AIFF. They're uncompressed, so they're big files. WAV is uncompressed, high quality, Windows only. So they're more like it is only used on Windows. It's a similar sort of thing. It's not compressed, but it doesn't need to be really because it's on our computer, so there's no great stress over it. But it's just a file format that Windows understands as being uncompressed audio. So exam questions. The video advertisement referred to in question 9 is to be distributed on the internet. So it's for the sports company that are making a video. Identify the most suitable file format you could use for the final product. Explain your reason for your choice. So explain the reason for your choice. So you're making a video, you're putting it online. What file format are you going to choose? That's 1 mark, so that's obviously going to be a file type. And your explanation. So what it is and why. If you haven't paused your video, pause your video. Right. So you choose one of these, MAV, MPEG or MP4, because they're compressed. If it was me, I'd go with MP4 because that's the most common one I use. If I want to put a video onto Apple TV, it has to be an MP4 format. So MP4 is the one that stays in my brain the most. This file's been compressed. This file has a compressed file format, meaning it's small size. Therefore, it has the benefit of speed online. And that's especially true inside in your house if you're buffering between your computer and your Apple TV or your phone and your Apple TV. That speed and the size is really, really important. And that's where the 2 marks are coming in. Look at the bold. You're saying why it's compressed and what the effect of that compression is. Winged Breath would like to produce an audio advert to use on social networking sites to advertise the documentary film. State a suitable file format for the final audio advert. So they're making an advert, they're putting it online. What file format would you use? It's worth 1 mark. You haven't even got to explain it, you just got to state the file format. MP3, WAV or AIFF. If you had to explain it, if it was worth 2 marks, you could say that it was compressed, therefore it was faster to download, it would take up less space. They're the answers for that one. Explain 1 benefit and 1 drawback of lossy compression when working with audio files. So it's worth 4 marks. So split the 4 marks into 2. 2 are for benefit, 2 are for drawback. So 2 benefits of lossy compression and 2 drawbacks of lossy compression. Pause your video, have a think. So, a benefit. Lossy means a compressed file. So you're explaining what they mean by lossy. Don't presume that the examiner knows you know that means compression. Explain it. Lossy means compressed file, so that it's smaller. 1 mark. 2nd mark comes from being quicker to upload, quicker to download, taking up less hard drive space. That's your 2nd mark. Drawback. 1. When the audio files are lossy compressed, some quality is removed. Okay, so it's never as good as the original recording. 2. Too much compression would mean that the songs are not as clear. So if you compress something too much, it might mean that you just can't hear it very well anymore. And especially with music, if it was just a recording of someone's voice like this, it doesn't really matter as long as you can hear it. But with music, if they're selling their band, then too much compression would mean that it just doesn't do them any justice. It just sounds awful.